Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we are brothers on tennis. And guess what, folks? We are bringing to you today a different concept. We've got a series that we want to present, and we're really excited about it. We are going to start talking about our top 5 favorites. And honestly, folks, our favorites will likely range from tennis things to non-tennis things, which really could be interesting. Right? But what we're going to do is we're going to bring these different things to you, trying to give you a little bit of variety as we're going through, this the stay-at-home phase. And we're really hoping that it will help you to fill some of your time. So, yeah, hopefully you will enjoy it. And our first actual top 5 that we're going to talk about are the top 5 siblings in tennis. Have you ever thought about that, folks? Top 5 tennis siblings. Bryce, come on, talk to me, bro. What are your thoughts around the top 5 siblings in tennis?
Well, I tell you what, Isaac, what was very surprising to me is, once we made the decision that this was the episode we were going to do, when I started thinking back and doing a little research, I was like, wow, there have been quite a few siblings that have been in the game of tennis, and quite a few of them very successful. So I like our top 5. And one of the things I would like to do is encourage all of our listeners, if you have any thoughts about our top 5, now remember, these are our favorites. So this is our opinion. You can't judge our opinion, but you can provide yours as well. Go on social media, go on our website, and give us who you think should be in the top 5, or who are your 5 favorites. So I'm looking forward to it, Isaac.
Absolutely. And one of the things, folks, we want you to know is, like Bryce said, it's our favorites, so judge us on that. But at the same time, this is a collaborative list. So this is something that both Bryce and I talked about. So we agree on these top 5. So what we're bringing to you is, again, something that we've collaborated on. And, we feel pretty good about, right, Bryce?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Exactly. But before we get into all of the detail around our top 5 siblings, I think it might be good to hear about some of the things that are going on in the world of tennis. And Bryce, I know that you have had your finger on the pulse in regards to kind of what things are happening. And, I know that there's been a good amount of activity going on. So can you give our listeners a little bit of a preview as to kind of what's going on in the world of tennis?
Sure, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So I think on our last podcast, we mentioned that the All England Lawn and Tennis Association was going to be making a decision this week about the status of Wimbledon for 2020. Well, they made the decision and they decided to cancel it. And from what I understand, this wasn't a big surprise. Isaac, I think we were talking about it. It's much more difficult to move Wimbledon because of the grass courts.
Yeah.
They are treated and they're manicured a certain way for a particular time of the year to be able to play on them, and they just can't willy-nilly move the date to some other time.
Right.
And I'll tell you something else that probably played a huge role in their decision to just cancel versus to postpone. I heard that the All England Lawn and Tennis Association, Wimbledon has an insurance policy on the tournament.
Oh.
And the insurance policy they have specifically covers the cancellation of the tournament in the case of a pandemic type situation.
Wow.
So let me kind of remind folks why this is important. If you remember when we had the Katrina hurricane issue down in New Orleans, a lot of homeowners really got the short end of the stick because they had homeowners insurance, but unless they had flood insurance, it really wouldn't pay out for them.
Right.
Well, Wimbledon actually has a clause in there for a pandemic type of scenario.
Wow.
So from their perspective, from a financial standpoint, they're going to be made whole by the insurance company. So I'm sure, and I know that's not the only reason to cancel, but I'm sure that really helped to make that decision a lot easier.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that you are covered, and you have to know that there are so many dollars that flow through the flow through Wimbledon. I mean, my goodness, to be able to have that level of coverage, that yeah, that's incredible. That would make the decision a lot easier in my eyes, for sure. Right?
Right, absolutely. And
Wow.
and so from a broader perspective, what this what has happened is the ATP and the WTA came together and made a joint decision and made a joint statement that their tours, in addition to the ITF, that there would be no tennis until July the 7th. And what that basically means is they have canceled the grass court season. Now, Isaac, one thing that I was really, really happy to hear was that finally the WTA and the ATP came together and made a
Right?
decision for both tours at the same time.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's amazing, man. The fact that they finally came together on something is really hopefully that's a thing that they will take forward in the future as well.
I'm hoping so. I am really hoping so. So I'm not going to bash the WTA anymore because, or at least not now, because it looks like they're trying to make some corrective actions, and so I appreciate that, and I'm sure the women on the tour appreciate that as well.
Right.
But so yeah, so now no tennis for sure all the way until July the 7th, and who knows, that date may continue to get passed, uh, continue to get moved on. Um, I really do think there is a chance that there may not be any tennis in all of 2020, but we'll keep our fingers crossed that conditions change so that everybody feels comfortable enough and that it's safe enough for us actually to play some tennis this year.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Got to keep our fingers crossed, but at the same time, got to stay safe and do what's right for our future. Just our future. I mean, we don't
Right.
want to rush back into things, and then this virus, catch us while we're sleeping, if you will. So yeah.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
to continue the good news, both the All England Lawn and Tennis Association, or really the Lawn and Tennis Club,
Hmm.
and the U.S. Open, they have both availed their facilities to assist in whatever is needed with fighting this whole coronavirus thing. So I don't know if they're going to be making any kind of makeshift hospital beds there. I did hear that they were planning on using like the kitchen facilities
Oh,
uh, to maybe prepare food and all that kind of stuff. So just a really good look on tennis to take advantage um, of stepping up,
right, right.
and doing the right thing. If they're not going to use those facilities for tennis, or even not for tennis at this moment, to avail themselves to help support this pandemic issue, that's a really good look on the tennis world.
Absolutely, man. That's so good to hear. It's good to hear that they are, because again, you've got companies that are coming together and collaborating, and I know that yeah, there are companies that are trying to merge in order to do more or produce more ventilators. They're transforming manufacturing sites to get more masks out, and just a lot of different things that companies are doing in order to really try and help out those on the front line and flatten that curve, if you will. So that's really great to hear that the Lawn Club and the U.S. Open are both opening their doors for that. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I'm kind of sad to report that I know we had heard earlier that Thiago Silva
Yep.
had tested positive for the coronavirus. Well, this week we also got confirmation from Patrick McEnroe that he also tested positive for the coronavirus. Um, I was talking to Isaac before we recorded today, and we were just saying, we give Patrick a hard time here on the show, but it's really in good fun, and he really um, is a significant figure in our game. I mean, if I'll just take a few minutes to rattle off some of the things that make him a very a significant person in the world of tennis. I mean, obviously he comes from one of the most popular tennis families in the U.S., the McEnroe family. He did win a singles title. His singles ranking got as high as number 28 in the world. He has 16 doubles titles, and he got as high as number 3 in the world in doubles. Even won the 1989 French Open, so he has a major to his name. But he and Luke Jensen really did their thing at Stanford, and was it Luke Jensen? Yeah, I think it was Luke Jensen.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
they won the NCAAs in '86 and '88. He did graduate from Stanford as a poli-sci major.
Nice.
And for 10 years, he was the captain of the Davis Cup. I think it was like 2000 to 2010. And for record, that is the longest tenure that any captain has had for the U.S. team. During that time, he was the captain of the 2004 Olympic team, and they actually took the Davis Cup in 2007. A lot of us, if you don't remember Pat as a tennis player, we know him as a broadcaster, a commentator, a tennis analyst. He first started with CBS, and I remember he was with them for years. And then he moved over to his new and current home, ESPN. Mm-hmm. So from Brothers on Tennis, we are wishing Patrick a speedy recovery. We know that he's a fighter. I have heard that he was feeling well. It didn't sound like he was having a big issue with the symptoms, but just the positive test result just is nerve-wracking enough.
Right. Yeah, we definitely extend that out to Patrick McEnroe and his entire family, because we know that it definitely has its resounding effects, not only to the individual, but those around. So, yeah, Patrick, we are definitely thinking of you and wishing you the best. And Bryce, interestingly enough, as we were talking about, again, doing this episode on siblings, I mean, they were one of the sibling pairs that we were considering. And even though they didn't necessarily make our top 5, we of course know how popular and how how incredible John McEnroe is. So that sibling pair right there is definitely they're definitely a worthy mention, if you will.
Right, I totally agree.
Yeah. So Bryce, with that, are there any other tennis siblings that you want to talk about? Because I know we're going to talk about our top 5, but there may be some others that didn't quite make our list that we may want to let the listeners know we at least considered, even though they didn't make our top 5.
Exactly. And like I said, when we were doing the research, I guess sometimes you don't think about it in those terms, the siblings. And as I started to do my review of the information we looked at, mm-hmm. I was like, wow, there have been quite a few, and quite a few that have been fairly successful. And I'm just going to run through a couple of them here. One is Tim and Tom Gullickson. Mm-hmm. If we remember, they were the Bryan Brothers back in the day. Identical twins. I think Tim was the right-handed one. Tom was the left-handed one. A lot of us knew Tim for being the coach of Pete Sampras, being with him for the first 5 Grand Slam singles titles that he won.
Yeah.
So you have them. You have, bringing it a little more current, we have both Sasha and Misha Zverev. Right. And, we know that Sasha has been a little more successful with the singles. He's been as high as number 3 in the rankings. And his brother, Misha, has been around and has had some good results here and there.
Right.
We have Ryan and Christian Harrison. Now, let me tell you what, I was originally hyped for these guys because they come from my hometown, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Right.
But, they ain't really done much. So, but I will tell you this, Isaac, and I know you remember this.
Yes.
Ryan does have a 2017 French Open doubles title.
That's right.
And all I remember from that match is the saltiness from Donald Young, who was his opponent in the finals.
Yep.
Do you remember that handshake at the end?
Yeah, I do. It was definitely not the friendliest.
I don't know if Donald Young and Ryan Harrison had some beef, or if he was just like, here's a younger American taking probably the best opportunity I'll ever have to have a Grand Slam title. But Donald's last name might as well have been Morton, because he was salty.
Yes, I remember that very distinctively, and yeah, he was not a happy camper whatsoever. And most Americans are pretty cool with one another, but yeah, you could tell there's something there. There's some beef there, that's for sure.
Exactly. Of course, we know about the identical twins of Carolina and Christina Pliskova.
Yep.
Now, once again, here's another example of why these type of siblings didn't make our top 5, because although Carolina is it Carolina or Carolina?
It's Carolina, but that's okay.
It's Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get her name right.
Yeah.
Put some respect on her name. Carolina, we know she's done really well in singles. I mean, she's been number 1 in the world.
Oh yeah.
16 singles titles, 5 doubles titles, and Christina has one of the biggest serves on the women's tour.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Christina has embraced her leftiness enough, and because I mean, she's got the big serve, and I mean, she's really got a great game. I just think that this might be one of those times where it may be a little bit on the mental side, because Carolina can play. I mean, she steps up, and mind you, she is probably one of the greatest active players right now that has not won a Grand Slam, but still, she's right up there at the top, and she likely will, cross that barrier at some point. But yeah, Christina, in my opinion, is definitely underperforming, because like I said, she's lefty. Come on, use that leftiness. Go talk to Martina Navratilova.
Exactly. So, just kind of covering the people I've talked about thus far, Tim and Tom didn't make our top 5 because they were just primarily doubles. They really didn't have any real singles results to speak of. Ryan and Christian ain't really had nothing. Harrison didn't really have nothing anyway. Carolina, I mean, like Isaac was saying, she did her part, but Christina hasn't really held up her side of the bargain. We also had, if you remember, during the rock and roll tennis days, when Andre Agassi was really blazing it out there, we had Luke and Murphy Jensen.
That's right.
And I remember I used to be really just kind of fascinated with Luke Jensen because he was ambidextrous. So you would see him, change which hands he would serve with. But that still basically just kept them as doubles players. But they were also an example of tennis players who maybe didn't have the brightest tennis careers, but both transitioned into tennis media pretty well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that is it Murphy? I just remember one of them, it was just really a big part of the Tennis Channel becoming, as
Murphy.
Big as it is. Murphy, yeah, because he had his own show, and he was doing player interviews. I mean, I used to see Murphy all the time on the Tennis Channel. I'm not sure what happened with that relationship or what have you, but I feel like he is due a lot as it relates to the growth of the Tennis Channel itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And then just one more I want to mention, and that is you have to know Aggie and Ursula Radwanska. And I think Aggie is kind of similar to what you said about Carolina. Now, Aggie only got up to number 2 in the world. She didn't get to number 1. But I have definitely heard some people say that they think she's one of the best players to have played and never won a Grand Slam singles title.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that, because she was so very close at that one Wimbledon final that she played. And I think she was actually, wasn't she supposed to win that one? I forget who she lost to.
Yeah, I forgot. Because didn't she play Serena one time, right? Didn't she play Serena? And
well, she sure wasn't supposed to win that
one. Yeah, she wouldn't win that one. But
yeah, she was close, though. She was extremely close.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple that you may think, well, I haven't heard about this family yet. one, we just mentioned the McEnroes. You had John and you have Patrick.
Yep.
But just to be, keep it completely funky, John really held up that name. To me,
Oh, yeah.
Patrick made more of a name for himself in his post-tennis playing career.
Right.
So Patrick kind of kept him out of the top 5. I know, Patrick, you're sick and all. I'm still throwing shade on you, but it's all love. It's all love. and then then you would think about Chris Everett and her sister Jean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And obviously, the name that everybody remembers is Chris. But Jean, unfortunately, she passed just this past February, I think it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was only 62 years old, and but once again, like the McEnroes, since Chris basically kind of held up that name, that's why they didn't make it into our top 5.
Right.
So now one more thing before we get to the top 5, we're still building this up. Isaac and I thought that there were 3 families that they just missed being in our top 5. And so we want to kind of put them in our what we call honorable mention category. Just because they didn't make the top 5, but you know what? If it wasn't for 1 or 2 things, they probably should have. And the first family I'm going to start with of the 3 are the Sanchez's. And if you'll remember, there were 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The brothers were Emilio, Javier, and the sisters were Marissa and Arancha Sanchez Vicario.
Mm-hmm. Bumblebee.
The Bumblebee, absolutely. and this was a very hard one for us because if you just took the stats of Arancha and Emilio, Arancha won 5 Fed Cups, was number 1 in the world, 4 singles Grand Slam titles, 6 doubles Grand Slam titles, 4 mixed doubles Grand Slam titles. Emilio was number 1 in the world in doubles, got up to number 7 in singles, so he was top 10. He has 3 Grand Slam doubles titles. He has 2 Grand Slam mixed doubles titles. He won the Davis Cup in 1987. He what else? I think he had a singles, doubles. What was it? No, he had a silver medal in doubles in the 1988 games.
Okay.
So if you look at those 2, you're like, wow, Arancha and Emilio, of course, they should be in the top 5. But we're looking at the whole family.
That's right.
And Javier, he didn't really have much Grand Slam success, really. No titles. But he did make it up to number 23 in the singles ranking, and it made it up to number 9 in the doubles ranking because he won like 26 doubles titles.
Nice.
So he wasn't so bad, but Marissa, I have a feeling like Marissa was the one at the house that was like, it's like everything got to be about tennis?
Right? Do we really have to talk about this again?
Right, yeah. She didn't do much outside of the ITF circuit, so, Marissa kind of kept him out of the top 5.
Yeah, that's kind of tough, but at the same time, hey, Arancha, Emilio, they did their thing. Javier, So, yeah, even though you don't make the top 5, like Bryce said, you get the honorable mention, which is, it's good. It's good.
Now, I know a family, Isaac, that you thought would have been in the top 5 when we first started talking. The Black family. You want to talk about them?
Well, yeah, I mean, you had Wayne Black, you had Kara Black, you had Byron Black. I mean, they were, the Blacks. I mean, anytime you were talking about doubles, there was always like a black somewhere.
That sounds crazy.
Right. I know, right? It really does. But I mean, they seriously were. I mean, I just remember Cara Black just being all over the place, and what an outstanding doubles player she was. She got to number one in the world, won just countless titles and Grand Slam titles. So
Mm-hmm.
Cara's on the list there, and and same with Wayne and Byron. I mean, I believe was it Byron and Cara made number one in doubles, right?
Correct. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then but Wayne did not, but he was pretty close.
Yeah. Number four.
Number four. There you go.
Right.
There you go. So I mean, so for the most part, they were up and around that top echelon, if you will, of in the doubles play. And so you can't hate on that. I mean, that's just incredible for one family to really have that level of tennis IQ
Mm-hmm.
and those players to be constantly just in and around the top and playing for Grand Slams and mixed doubles titles. So that family for me, yeah, the Blacks had it going on. Bryce, anything from your standpoint as it relates to the Blacks?
No, just that they're exactly what you said they were. They were beasts in the world of doubles. I mean, Kara won 60 doubles titles.
Whew.
She won 5 Grand Slam doubles titles, and she won 5 Grand Slam mixed doubles titles.
Incredible.
And then you had, like you said, her and Byron were both number one, and even Wayne, who only got to number four. Listen to me, only number four. He ended up with 2 Grand Slam doubles titles and 2 Grand Slam mixed doubles titles. So we were really thinking that they may have made it in, but they just. I think the people we have in the top 5 are. Yeah. Now there's one more that we have in the honorable mention, and this one's kind of personal for me because these were two brothers when I first started watching tennis that I love to watch, and they are Sandy and Gene Mayer. I was fascinated by Gene Mayer because he was the first player that I ever saw hit the ball with 2 hands on both sides. So this is before Monica Seles. This is before Byron Black. This is before Jan Michael Gamble. This is before, I don't know who else did it. But Gene was the first person that I saw do it. And I just want you for a second to listen to these stats of these two brothers. So Sandy, his high rank in singles was 7, and his high rank in doubles was 3. Gene, his high rank in singles was 4, his high rank in doubles was 5. They both won 2 Grand Slam doubles titles, and they actually won the 1979 French Open doubles title together. How many families, and we're already looking at the best of the best, had 2 siblings that both made it in the top 10 of both singles and doubles, and they weren't even really each other's doubles partners hardly ever.
Wow, that's incredible.
Right. So, I had recommended that they be in the top 5, but we had forgotten about one family.
Right.
And they came in and was like, "Get thee behind me, mayors."
All right.
We're going to bump y'all to the honorable mention.
Exactly. It's like, Scooch, sorry.
So, Isaac.
That is awesome.
Let's jump into the top 5 and get us going on number 5. Number 5 for us out of our top 5 favorites are the Bryan Brothers.
That's right. That's right. The Bryan Brothers planning to retire at the end of this year, even with the modified schedule, even with the Olympics in Wimbledon pushing into 2021, which is pretty sad because I honestly, Bryce, was hoping that they were going to be one of the folks who initially announced their retirement to say, we'll hang on a little bit. We'll hang on till that 2021 to do some things. But no, they actually came out and said, no, we're good.
Right.
We good. But yeah, man, I mean, Bryce, those Bryan Brothers, I mean, first of all, to just say they brought visibility to doubles is just an understatement. I mean,
Right.
they put it on the map. I mean, mind you, I know that we've had some great doubles pairings in the past, and we talked about John McEnroe, and basically that John McEnroe and anybody else makes a successful doubles team. But
Right.
I mean, with the Bryan brothers, man, they just took it to a whole nother level. I mean, their popularity in the sport, it was just outstanding. And I mean, all the chest bumps, and I mean, these guys are incredible. I mean, they've got 16 plus Grand Slam titles. Of course, Mike has a couple more because he pulled a couple with Jack Sock when when Bob was laid up, and so when Jack came to the rescue and they put two more on their tally. But I mean, to have 16 and 18 Grand Slam titles and finished year in number one, who knows how many times? I don't
Yeah.
even know how many times they finished number one in the world. But I mean, Bryce, the Bryan brothers are just straight up legit. I mean, they are incredible, and I mean, and not only just the Bryans, but then you talk about Wayne Bryan, the father, who was very big in the commentary area. He did a lot, there, and so their whole family is about tennis, and they're right up the road. I mean, they're right in Camarillo, I believe, Camarillo, California, which is right between Oxnard and L.A. Or Santa Barbara in L.A., I should say. But yeah, man, I mean, there's just so much that you can say about the Bryans, and I mean, it's just incredible. They've got mixed doubles titles. You've got gold medals. I mean, come on, it's like they're incredible.
Right.
They're incredible.
Well, and they have been called the best men's doubles team of all time. I mean,
Yeah.
Bob has a total of 119 doubles titles, and like you said, Mike has a few more at 124
Mm-hmm.
when Bob was injured and couldn't play. And the Olympics, they
Yep.
they won a bronze in doubles, and they won the gold in doubles in 2012, I believe.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that same year, I think Mike in 2012 he won the mixed doubles
Oh,
gold.
okay.
Yeah, he won
Yep.
the mixed doubles gold. So Bob has 7 mixed doubles Grand Slam titles, and
Mhm.
Mike has 4. So I tell you what, one of the best things that they probably ever did was very, very early in their career, they made the decision that they were going to be a doubles team. They really weren't going to mess around with the whole singles game. They knew that that really wasn't where their bread was buttered,
Right.
and that's a very mature decision
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to make. And I tell you what, they have had probably a far better career as strictly, well, they're going down as history right now as the best double. There is no question about GOAT doubles team right now like there is in singles.
Right. That's exactly right. There was even talk about them being added to like the top 100 greatest tennis players of all time. Because Tennis Channel was running that series all last week. And, just given the fact that the Bryans have won, like we said, 16/18 Grand Slam titles as a pairing, that definitely puts them in that top tier, if you will, of greatest of all time, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely doubles, like you said.
Absolutely. So the
Yeah.
Bryan brothers, Bob and Mike Bryan, number 5 on our list of 5 favorite siblings.
I am going to very quickly give some shade to the Bryans because I
Oh.
think I told you this story a long time ago.
Okay.
But remember, I used to sing the national anthem at the UCLA
Yeah.
tournament. I used to, so folks, if you're listening, I used to sing the national anthem at the tournament in UCLA. It was like the BMW Open or something like that. Anyway, we did it at UCLA. Long story short is I sang 4 years straight at the finals. I was supposed to sing for my 5th year in a row, and I was so excited about doing 5 years in a row, just a personal milestone. Well, at the same time, apparently the Bryan brothers were working on winning their 100th title, and they were in the draw, and they made it to the finals. So, of course, they then asked one of their American Idol friends to come and sing the national anthem, so I got bumped.
Oh.
Yes, I still have a little sprinkle of saltiness with them on that, but they did actually win their 100th title at UCLA, so I can't hate on them too much. But yeah, they broke my streak, man. So,
Oh. And if you're gonna break somebody's streak, that was for a good reason.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, let's move on to number 4 on our list.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once again, it's another pair of brothers.
Hmm.
And they are the Murray brothers, Andy and Jamie Murray.
Yes, sir.
Now, the reason why Andy and Jamie made the list is because they have both represented and their strengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy Andy made the big 3 the big 4.
That's right. That's right. Yes, he did.
You know, Andy is the only player in history to win 2 gold medals in singles at the Olympics.
That's right.
Andy has 3 Grand Slam titles, and I mean, we can't just say he has 3 Grand Slam titles. He has 2 Wimbledon titles, and if you know anything about tennis, England went through a huge drought in terms of having a champion at Wimbledon. And poor Tim Henman, I'm surprised they didn't send him to the loony bin. But
right.
Andy broke that streak, and it was like what, a 77 or 75-year-old streak.
Yeah, I think it was Fred Perry, right?
Fred Perry, exactly.
Yep.
Now, while Andy was doing his thing in singles, where he reached a career high of number 1, and this is while Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer are playing.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
His brother was representing in the doubles court.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hit number 1 in doubles. And, you know, he has, 5 mixed doubles Grand Slam titles and 2 Grand Slam doubles titles. And actually, of his 5 mixed doubles Grand Slam titles, he's won the last 3 years at the U.S. Open with Bethany Maddox-Sands. So they've won 3 years in a row. And to put on top of all that, in 2015, together as brothers, they brought home the Davis Cup.
Yep.
For Great Britain. So,
That's right.
I mean, just the magnitude of the accomplishments of both of these guys, you just can't deny. Right, Isaac?
You just can't. You can't. And you got to give some shine to Judy Murray. That's the mama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she has done her thing. She's been in and around tennis, in Britain for just ages. And not only helping her sons, but helping other players as well. So, I mean, that family is just immersed in tennis. And they have done some incredible things. So, they most definitely deserve to be on our list of top 5. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, congratulations, Andy and Jamie. And let's move on to number 3.
Yes, sir.
Now, number 3 for me personally, this family I feel is one of the most underrated siblings or families in the game of tennis. When we talk their results, you know, first I'm going to say their names, and some of y'all are going to be like, who that is?
Right.
You know, who your mama is, you know. But when we talk the numbers, you're going to understand why they had to be in our top 5. And
right.
That is the 3 Maleva sisters.
That's right.
Manuela, Katerina, and Magdalena. And Magdalena, you may know her better as Maggie Maleva. But this singular accomplishment is what, for me, got them a spot in the top 5. There are several times that all 3 of them were in the top 10. Manuela hit a career high of number 3, Katerina hit a career high of number 6, and Magdalena hit a career high of number 4. So there were several times that family was 30% of the top 10 women players in the world.
Think about that, folks.
Right?
That's insane.
That is
crazy.
insane. I mean, Manuela won 19 singles titles. Katerina won 11 singles titles. Maggie won 10 singles titles.
Crazy.
And wait a minute, and it gets even better. Not only were all 3 of them in the top 10 in singles, and sometimes at the same time,
Right.
All three of them hit the top 25 in doubles. Manuela
Crazy.
was 11, Maggie was 13, and Katarina brought up the rear with number 24. And collectively, they won 11 doubles titles. And
Wow.
Manuela won, I think she won a bronze. I can't remember. But I think she won a bronze in 1984 in mixed doubles with Tom Gullickson.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, you give me another family that has had three members in the top 10 at any time. At any time. Let,
Anytime.
let alone at the same time.
Crazy.
What do you think, Isaac?
Man, listen, I have to 100% agree with you, man. Those Maleva sisters, I mean, to me, they are very much underappreciated as far as the results that they produced. Like I said, the stat just speaks for itself. To have three sisters in the top 10 all at the same time, that is amazing. I don't know that that's something that you'll probably see happen, at least not in the near future. That's for darn sure. But yeah, great, incredible accomplishments, both on the singles and double side. So yeah, I mean, it's just, in my eyes, it's an obvious pick that they are in the top five siblings, because that's just crazy, Bryce. It's crazy.
Right. And obviously, the elephant in the room on this family is that none of the three reached number one.
Right.
Now, granted, this was during a time where you still had Martina and Chris Everett and Steffi Graf. And, I mean, you had some beasts,
Oh, yeah.
during this period.
Right.
So, number 1 and 2 was kind of locked up. So, that was a good result for Manuela to get to number 3.
That's right.
But also, they didn't snag any, well, no. Manuela didn't. I'm sorry. I said something wrong. She did not
Okay.
win a medal. What she did win was a mixed doubles title with Tom Gullickson at the U.S. Open in 1984.
Okay.
That
Well, no, she did get a bronze, though. She got a bronze in the Olympics in 1988. So, no,
oh
you were
and
right.
oh at 88. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha. All right,
Mm-hmm.
good.
So, no, you're good. You're good.
Now,
We got you.
now the thing is, that was the only Grand Slam title that they had amongst the three.
Right.
So I think the lack of the Grand Slam titles and nobody hitting number one on the singles or the doubles probably keeps them out of a lot of conversations. But I tell you what, if you go to almost any family and you tell them, you know what, let me take 3 of your kids, they won't hit number one. They'll probably just have one Grand Slam doubles title, but they'll spend their career in and around the top 10 in
Mm-hmm.
singles and in and around the top 25 in doubles. Would how many parents do you think would take that?
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of them would take that. I don't think Richard Williams would, but I think a lot of other parents would. Yeah, I'd say 99.5% of other parents most definitely would take that.
Yeah, Richard would be like, get that noise out of here.
I know, get that out of here. What you talking about? We 1 and 2.
Didn't you hear? Didn't you hear? We just skipping the whole junior circuit.
Right?
We're not playing around. All right. So let's move on to number 2 on the list.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, this set of siblings, they've definitely done something that no other siblings have ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about, and I don't know how you say the last names, but the last names are kind of different the way they do it, but we're talking about Marat Safin and Dinara Safina.
That's right.
The thing that they accomplished is Marat hit number 1 on the ATP tour. Dinara hit number 1 on the WTA tour.
That's right. That's
Only 2
right.
siblings to top both of the tours.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with Marat, I think he had 2 Grand Slam titles. He had the U.S. Open in 2000 and the Australian Open in 2005.
Correct.
But he had 15 singles titles. Dinara had 12 singles titles. She didn't hit pay dirt with any of the Grand Slam titles, which
She got
also
close.
she did, but which also puts her in a very special category because there are only a handful of players on the women's side and really on the men's side that have hit number one without winning a major.
Right, right.
We were talking earlier about that. What's her name? Carolina Pliskova.
Mm-hmm.
She's in that group of hitting number one without a major. But something else that I want to call out is not only did Marat and Dinara both hit number one on their tours, Marat won 2 Davis Cups and Dinara won a Fed Cup.
Yep, yep. You got to appreciate that, man. Playing for your country, that's good stuff.
So to have two siblings, and especially on the men's tour and the women's tour, to reach the pinnacle, once again, who else can say that? Especially when you're talking about the two different tours.
Exactly. Yeah. Has there? Yeah. I don't think that that again. That's why they make our top five. The fact that they were able to do that on both sides, both tours, and really, just forge their own way. It was just extremely impressive. You could tell that Dinara was really, trying to live up to Marat. I mean, she looked up to her older brother, and she was really doing her best to try and, just make him proud and do, all that she could. And Marat just was a beast. I mean, honestly, to me, I feel like Dinara was the one that kind of overachieved. Thank you, that's the right word, overachieved. And I feel like Marat underachieved because he, like I said, he was a beast, and if he was focused, oh yeah, he in my opinion could have had double-digit slam numbers if he wanted that, but that wasn't what he wanted. He was playboy doing his thing.
Right.
And yeah, hey, you gotta respect the games. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So
There
go
you
ahead
go.
and do it. But still, he did enough to make our list. So
Exactly. And make number two.
yeah, exactly. So no, yeah, you got to give those two a lot of love.
So, Isaac, I know this is going to be really difficult,
Mm.
but do you think people kind of know who our number one?
I tell you what, if they don't know our number one, then they really have not been listening to our podcast. And I gave you a hint just a couple minutes ago, because the parent would not be happy with just being hovering around top 10. No, what's wrong with you? Get that out of here.
And number one, without a doubt, not second place is so far behind number one. It should be a whole different list.
Exactly.
They are the queens.
Yes.
Miss Venus and Serena Williams.
I need to give a hand clap. Just give a hand clap because Bryce, I could literally take the next couple hours if talking about Venus and Serena. We won't do that, folks. Don't you dare tune out on us. Don't you do it. We won't take that long. But I mean, Bryce, come on, man. I mean, they are our queens, and it would be ridiculous for anybody else to even try to contend for the number one spot. I mean, what they have done in tennis, you can't even talk about the stuff outside of tennis that they did, just the impact that they've had. But what they have done inside the lines, come on, man, it's insane. Go ahead, and I'll let you kind of give all their wonderful stats because it's incredible.
Right.
Incredible.
So listen to these stats, and I'm sure some of you already know these, but just to hear them again, we always say, "Oh, this will never happen again," and each generation tends to have tends to one up the last generation. I mean, one of the things that I love is how much they adored Pete Sampras and him breaking that hidden number 14 in terms of Grand Slam titles.
Yep.
And Djokovic, Nadal, and Roger were like, we are not impressed.
No, not at all, in fact.
We are not impressed. We're going to hurry up and get past you and then have this whole different party going on over here.
Right?
But I think I actually believe it with Venus and Serena. I don't know if we will ever see this again. Listen to the stats. They both have been number one in women's singles and doubles. All right? Serena has won a total of 73 singles titles. Venus has won 49.
Mm-hmm.
They both have won 22 or 23 doubles titles.
Okay.
They have won, in terms of the Grand Slams, Serena has 23, and we know that for sure because we're following her trying to get to this 24. But
Right.
but she has more than anybody else in the open era. Venus has 7, which, it seems like it pales in comparison to the 23. But when you match her up against all the rest of the women,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
there are a whole bunch of people that wish they had 7.
Sure enough.
They are undefeated
Hmm.
in Grand Slam doubles titles, right? And when they make it to the finals, they've won 14.
So ridiculous. I mean, just think about that right there, folks. When they get to the doubles final, they win. That's it. They win.
14.
14 and 14, folks.
Now,
Grand Slam doubles, women's doubles.
And remember, we're saying the Bryan Brothers are the greatest men's doubles team ever with like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Venus and Serena have 14. All right. So, and then, wait a minute. A lot of people don't know this fact. The Williams sisters swept the 1998 Grand Slam mixed doubles titles because that year Venus won the Australian Open and the French Open mixed doubles titles with Justin Gimelstob. Actually, in the French Open, they beat Serena and her partner. I think it was Lobo. And then Serena came behind there, and with Max Mirny that same year won Wimbledon and the U.S. Open.
Crazy. She traded him in, traded up. My boy Max Mirny.
Right. So they each have 2 mixed doubles Grand Slam titles. Nobody else got up on there in 1998 from the women's side. And then they both won Fed Cup. They both have 1 gold medal in singles, 3 gold medals in doubles, and Venus has a silver medal in mixed doubles. It should be a gold. I still haven't forgiven Ram for just. Let me get off of that because I'm gonna be in a whole mood over that. But anyway, Venus has the additional silver, tarnishing her gold medals up there because Rajiv Ram can't handle the moment. Anyway,
hey, it was against Bethany and Jack Sock, so that's a pretty rough team right there. But I agree with you though.
Rajiv couldn't handle the moment. Yeah, he couldn't handle the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
If Venus could just play with somebody else from another country. Anyway, so I mean, and the thing that we love about this story, or at least I do, and I'm sure Isaac does.
Oh yeah.
Richard Williams told y'all what was going to happen.
On the board, on the whiteboard.
Told y'all what was going to happen. And even told you how he was going to do it. And I'm calling them all out. Tracy Austin, Chris Everett, Patrick McEnroe, all those commentators. I'm sorry, Pat, no you said. But, what is he doing to those girls? They're not playing the junior circuit. Oh, they're not going to know how to compete. Oh, this and that. What? They're only playing so many tournaments a year? They're not getting enough tournaments in. Oh, he has them doing all these other things. They're not focusing enough on tennis. They're going to be out of the game before anybody else. They were completely wrong on all of that.
All accounts.
All of it. And Richard was absolutely right. Matter of fact, I think they've done better than even Richard thought. Richard knew they were going to do really well, but I know he was like, damn. Really?
I know, right? Because remember, he was predicting them to be out of the game in like their mid-20s. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember he was like, nope, they're gonna be gone. They gonna make their mark and then they're gonna be out. But they actually, like I said, Serena's 38, Venus is 39.
Yep.
So and like I said, it still looks like Serena is at the top of the game still, and and hell, like I said, she's trying to add that tally. So man,
and let's not forget. While they were calling King Richard crazy, when everybody was all sweating Venus,
yep,
he was like, I'm telling y'all, your younger sister, is going to be way better. And people are like, now that's a daddy talking right there. That's a daddy talking up his baby girl. Venus's wife. Ain't no way Serena gonna. What? Huh?
And you know why he said? He said because she mean.
She mean, right?
Look. He told the truth, Bryce. He simply got out there and was like, look, I'm letting y'all know right now. I love my baby Venus, but I'm telling you right now, this Serena ain't no joke. Why? Because she mean. She got that fire. And that's what that is. And like I said, everything. Oh, my goodness. Talk about Hall of Fame. Of course, we know Venus and Serena will get there, but Richard better get into the Hall.
Oh, he will.
Better.
They have to.
You have to. Him and Oracene have to be put in. They have to, because it's just what that family has done. Transformed tennis. I mean, yeah. You can't say it any other way. They transformed the game of tennis. It's incredible.
Right. So if you feel like we're wrong at having Venus and Serena be at number one on our list, please send us a message so we can get that back with you.
So we can get with you, right? Because listen,
that would be an
argument.
Yes.
You will not win. You won't win. I'm telling you. That's listen.
So just to recap, our top five: number one, Venus and Serena Williams; number two, Marat Safin and Dinara Safina; number three, Manuela Maleva, Katerina Maleva, and Magdalena Maleva; number four, Andy Murray and Jamie Murray; and wrapping up our top five favorite siblings, Bob and Mike Bryan.
Boom, boom, boom. There you have it, folks. Top five. Once again, if you disagree or you feel they should be placed in a different order, if you think there are others that should be in the top five, go and let us know. Go to our website, go to our Instagram, what have you. We would love to hear from you and continue this debate. But Bryce, there is one thing that I want to share with the folks, and that is we are actually going to be kicking off a promotion. Hey, something we have not done. Woo! Yes. So, I don't know if folks know this or not, but we got some merch. You can see some photos that we got on our website. But yeah, we've got a promotion that we want to kick off, and Bryce is going to share some of the details, but we're hoping that this is something, once again, that while folks are staying home, they can kind of partake in, and they can enjoy some of our episodes and hopefully get entered into a drawing to win some of our merch. But with that, I will transfer it over to Bryce to give you some of those details.
All right. So what we're going to do, and we're going to try to make this really simple for you, to enter into the contest, we're going to be giving away Brothers Zone Tennis baseball caps. And like Isaac said, I think we have pictures on our website, but I'm also going to put a picture on Instagram. This is an Instagram contest. So what do you need to do to enter? Well, it's very simple. All we need for you to do is to share our Brothers on Tennis page with a friend or family member of yours and tell them to follow us. Once they have followed us, have them send us a direct message on Instagram with your username, and we will enter both you and the person you recommended or had to follow us into the contest. So once again, just share our page with a friend or a family member, have them follow us, and then have them send us a direct message with your username to enter both of you into the contest.
There you have it. Folks, I'm trying to tell you, this merch, you want a hat. You really do.
And Isaac got the mesh hats too. I don't even have a mesh hat. He didn't tighten me up with one. He gave me one of those construction worker, like painter hats. Got me out here looking all crazy. I'm going to enter the contest because I'm trying to get up on one of those mesh hats.
Right? B, I'm real sorry, bro. I owe you a hat, most definitely. Cause listen, folks, brother Isaac got a big old head, so I had to get the mesh because it's elastic, it stretch a little bit more, right? And I got him the regular hat, thinking that'd be okay, but no, he kind of gravitated to that mesh hat a little bit. So anyway, you want a hat, is what I'm trying to tell you. So do exactly what Brother Bryce said, man. Let's find these folks and let's get them signed up, get them to follow us, Brothers on Tennis. You know what we're about. And let's get in this contest. This actually should be really, really fun, folks. So hopefully you will be encouraged to play along.
And Isaac, I just noticed we hit an hour.
That we did.
So we have talked these poor listeners' ears off. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But hey, like Isaac was saying earlier, we're going to try to do one of these list episodes, during the stay-at-home period, a couple of times a week. So if you have any suggestions for a list that you would like to see Isaac and I do our top 5 favorites on, shoot us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Go to our website, send us an email. Let us know. We'd be happy to do that for you. So, with that, we're going to sign off. This is your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Really stay safe, everyone. Take care.